Let's preview. It's back. Yes, that's right. For Liverpool, the Premier League is finally back, and it's with a very important game for us against Leicester, and also a very important game for Leicester themselves as well. After the revelations of this week, it has to be commented on. I know loads and loads of people have made videos already. The media have been all over it as well, having their thoughts about it. Ranieri being sacked by Leicester. And if I'm going to give my personal opinion on it, I think it's incredibly short-sighted in a couple of ways. I think, yes, they're not in the best of form at all. They're in the same form that they were probably the season prior to winning the title. They're very near to that. And that season, they had an incredible run. I think they had 7 games or something like that, and they won something like 5 of them, drew 1 or something like that, maybe lost the other one, and they stayed up. And then obviously Claudio Ranieri took over, took Nigel Pearson's, whatever he changed at the end of that season, took Nigel Pearson's basis, changed the formation a little bit as well, and just injected that team with so much belief. It was unbelievable. They pulled off probably the story of the Premier League era. Nobody ever saw that coming. You saw the odds of the people that had bets on it, 5,000 to 1 and stuff like that. It's ridiculous to have gotten rid of him. Now, I can understand if it was like people are saying, oh yeah, but like Chelsea sacked Jose Mourinho, but Chelsea are a big club. They've won the title before. They've won the Champions League. They have different expectations. Leicester pulled off what is literally, biblically, a miracle. They pulled off a miracle, and I think it's very short-sighted. To come out 16 days before that he got sacked as well, to say he's got the full backing of the owners and all this lot as well, and then obviously they come out and then they sack him. I just don't agree with it. That's my point of view on it. It's not something I agree with. Who are they going to get in? Who's going to want to take that job as well? They're going to have to take over from a guy who got sacked for winning the Premier League. So there's a fine. There's not even a fine line. I don't even know what it is, but the gap for failure. They're now setting a precedent at their club, saying you cannot fail. If you achieve something, you cannot then fail. And that's really difficult standards to have in any league, but especially the Premier League, which is notoriously difficult. It really is notoriously difficult. Teams can be going up and down, apart from maybe a select few, like Manchester City and probably Arsenal at the moment. Maybe Liverpool, Man United and that are going to stay up there a little bit more consistently. I don't know. We don't know. But generally, you're going to get one of these teams that comes up. Like, look at Newcastle years ago when Alan Pardew took over and they got them 5th, but then they went right back down to kind of where they were not necessarily needed to be. I think they deserved to be mid-table. But anyway, they had in my opinion, they had the wrong manager. But anyway, it's going off topic completely. I don't think it's the right decision. Whoever comes into that job next, I think it's going to be a little bit poison chalice sort of thing, similar sort of thing that they have with the England job. But you can't see it coming. The miracle of football that happened last year, where everybody was wanting Leicester to go and do it, be the little horse that beats all the big ones, all the pedigree ones, all the massive, great big clubs with their big spending and everything like that. I just don't think it's right. That's just my personal opinion on it. And there's 2 ways that this can go as well. Now, obviously, people are saying in the media that, there was this player summit and the players had something to do with like Ranieri getting sacked, and the players are now starting to like come out in dribs and drabs. Schmeichel first, and then Vardy himself saying that they had nothing to do with it. They don't have any influence. That they're gutted about that he's gone. Look, until there's actual recorded evidence and stuff like that, it's just conjecture, and it's stuff that's built by the media to say that, look at this, all the senior players at Leicester are just like, they won the title, now they're bigger than anything. Look, Jamie Vardy had the opportunity to go to Arsenal, he turned it down. I'm pretty sure a good few of those players had the opportunity to go to other places, and they didn't go because they were the champions. The only one that did, who now looks to be a champion again this season, is N'Golo Kante, and that man's presence in any team cannot be diminished in the slightest, because I think we all got caught up in Jamie Vardy's scoring last year, Riyad Mahrez hitting heights that he hadn't. I'd never heard of Riyad Mahrez until like the year they won the title. That's like, it's kind of like Dimitri Payet at West Ham. No one had really, unless you were a big aficionado of League On, you didn't really necessarily know who he was. They kind of made him who he is. Similar sort of thing with Riyad Mahrez. He was unbelievable last season. Shocking this year. Shocking this year. Same with Vardy. Vardy's only scored, I think, I'm looking at stats here, he's only scored 5 goals. Hasn't had a shot on target or something since December. And like, I think by this point last year, he had a good wad of goals. I don't even know, it might be 17, 18, whatever it was. He'd obviously had that streak of goals as well, where he'd beaten Ruud van Nistelrooy's consecutive goals in consecutive games. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. They outperformed so much last year, and a lot of that was down to the engine room that is N'Golo Kante. And you can see that happening at Chelsea when they finally set on the system that Conte likes, not Kante, what Conte likes. Kante they got the most out of him at Chelsea now, and you can see that. Sometimes he doesn't, you don't necessarily notice his performances, but he is running that team so that the flair players and the players like Eden Hazard, even like Fabregas, Pedro, who's come into his own this year, Diego Costa, who's looks very good again this year. Defensively, they look solid, and it's because of that little man and his partnership in the midfield that he's got. I can't remember who he partners at Chelsea, but you cannot underestimate the impact, and I don't think anybody is underestimating the impact of N'Golo Kante, but I'm just saying you can't underestimate the impact that he had in that Leicester squad last year that helped turn them into champions from when they were relegation favourites again. Now they're just kind of back to where they probably should be. The miracle has happened. They're never going to have, gone for the title again. I think start of the season, top 4 could have been a possibility, maybe. They're still currently in the Champions League as well. I thought it would have been good to let Ranieri have some time in the Champions League, maybe overcome this Sevilla result as well, which I think they're 2-1 in. Vardy finally scored a goal, and I think they're only 2-1 down in that one. And they could not easily, but they could turn that one around. You've got to remember that Sevilla aren't an easy team to play against. They've won the Europa League, I think, 3 times or something in a row. I might not even be in a row, but they've won it 3 times. They're a ridiculous team. I think it's uncertain times for Leicester, but in terms of the Liverpool and Leicester game, and this is where we're going to get into the crunch of it, were Leicester struggling just under Ranieri and the tactics that you were doing? Are the backroom staff now going to revert to a little bit like last year? Are they going to be able to pull off a result against Liverpool? It's poetic that they sack Ranieri before the Liverpool game, and if Leicester come out and actually perform, which I am absolutely dreading if they do. We had a very good result against them in the previous fixture this year, and I just don't want us to get have this be like, oh, Leicester are now going to come out and play and all that sort of stuff anyway. So we could go over stats and stuff like that all day long, but we're not going to do that. Basically, I'm going to start with what I think our starting lineup will be. Liverpool have had, I think, 16 days off. They've been out in I can't remember, it's somewhere out in Spain, can't remember the name of it. They've been out in Spain doing what Klopp has been calling like a second short pre-season with the players, and he said, from his thoughts, he reckons it's gone okay. He reckons it's gone really well, and the players have really benefited from it. A lot of the players have come out and said, I think Henderson's come out and said, it's been very, very good for them to get out there and just keep focused. That they're not going to be able to, they're not going to struggle with going from that sort of environment in like having some sort of camp or something like that. They're not going to go from that environment and struggle to get back into competitive action. And after 16 days off from competition as well, hopefully everybody is nice and refreshed. I don't think there's any new injury concerns apart from Lovren, who I think may still be in Germany getting treatment on his leg or something like that. I'm not entirely sure on that one when it rolls around to Monday, recording this on Sunday. Basically, starting lineup, I would imagine it will go like this. I'm going to go with Mignolet. I think it will be then Milner. For some reason, I think Lucas is going to be in it, and I don't know why. I think, I would, unless there's something wrong with Klavan or something like that. Maybe, what about Joe Gomez? Maybe he's too young, I don't know, inexperienced, but that could be a good shout to get him in there. I can just see Lucas coming in there, and I think you know my thoughts on Lucas at centre-back by now. I'm not a big fan of it. He does put in some crunching tackles, but he's not built enough in that. And he's not. For me, he's not a centre-back. That's the be-all and end-all. He never was until like we got into emergency situations. I would love to see Klavan come in. I can see it being Lucas, though. Partnering Matip, which I'm always happy about. I love Matip, and I'm glad that he's hopefully going to be there. Klein as well, I think right back, that would be a very good one. to combat. It depends if they start with someone like Musa or anything like that. Musa has a hell of a lot of pace, but you never know. And especially obviously with Vardy as well, I think you've got to have Klein in there. And, Matip will hopefully help contain those guys as well. Moving forward into the midfield, I think it's a no-brainer having Wijnaldum, Henderson and Lallana. I just think that Wijnaldum does more for me than Emre Can does. Not knocking Emre Can. I think Can, if he comes on in the second half, he'll be a lot fresher. Makes more of an impact, a little bit like Sturridge, but in a different way. I think Can currently makes more of an impact coming in as a sub than he does starting the game at the moment. So I think that is a good way to go. Wijnaldum, Henderson, Lallana, every time they've started in midfield, it's been pretty damn solid and a pretty good result as well. And then the front line for me, Coutinho, Firmino and Mane. Get that trio back up front. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. Coutinho, I'm thinking that he'll end up running the show a little bit. Obviously, I think maybe with Lallana as well. I think Lallana was very key in the previous game that we had this season as well. Mane, what can I say about Mane? He's unbelievable. So glad that he's obviously back. No injuries, and I'm really happy about that. And Firmino, I want him up front because of his work rate. I think, especially with Morgan and Huth at centre-back for them, I just think that it could be a little bit there for the taking. They are big guys. Firmino's obviously he's not a towering centre-forward or anything like that, but I think his work rate will work in his favour in this instance. So I just think that's going to work really well. I think, it's there for the taking for us. We've had that much time off. We haven't had any, we haven't played a game in God knows how long, and I've missed it so much. So glad to even be doing this preview. It's ace. But I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can pull out. I really do, because I want to see performances like we did at the start of the season, and I think we've got the potential to do it in this one. This could potentially kickstart the rest of our season. I think Tottenham has been the baseline for that. That Tottenham performance, and especially Mane's man of the match performance that he had in that one as well, that's massively key. And if our players are all fit and we're only doing like maybe one game a week or something like that, for me, we've got no excuses to be taking away all of the points in this game. And I don't know if it will be dominant or not. It depends on our style of play. If we go forward and press and the defence keeps their shape, we could get a very, I'm not saying cricket score, we could get a similar result to the 4-1 that we've had previously. I'm hoping it's like that. I don't know if it will go down like that. Jamie Vardy getting a goal in midweek, is that going to spur him on and get his confidence back up? I hope not, but there's a chance that it could. But they are also missing their Premier League winning manager. No matter what you think of the guy or where their team is right now. And you know what? The players have got to start taking a lot of responsibility themselves as well. They've come out and said that this week since he got sacked. But to be honest with you, those Leicester players should have took responsibility themselves right when they knew. Probably right round October, November, stuff like that. When they pull, you've also got to remember, this is a team, while they've been in free fall, they've still managed to pick out results earlier on in the season against Man City. So, I mean, they've managed to do stuff like that in the past. They could still do it now, but they need to take a lot of responsibility. Their star players, do their star players start? Mahrez and Vardy, do they start? My opinion, I wouldn't. I think Ranieri, that was possibly a mistake that he made, is that he stuck with his star players far too much. These are the people, and it's understandable, these are the people that won him the league. But there's got to be a point. Where's Slimani? Musa, has he been getting much of a look in? These are guys that get brought in to hopefully, there's a Premier League winning side right there. You want some additions in there to make it stronger, make it deeper. Use these people. And I'm hoping that they don't, obviously. I'm trying to look at it from a little bit of a non-biased way. I don't know. Look, what do you guys think? Should Vardy and Mahrez start this game? Let me know. I should leave there should be a little poll thing coming up in the corner now. Should Vardy and Musa start this game? Let me know what you think of that one there. I don't think they should. I don't think they deserve to. I think they actually need to prove that they deserve to be there. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Mahrez will be there next year. I think Mahrez's situation will end up being a little bit like the Payet situation when it comes around to summer. He'll be wanting to leave and go somewhere else. He's got to prove that he deserves to go somewhere else or stay in that team as well. But these lot have to fight and keep themselves in the Premier League, because it would be devastating for the Premier League. Just that Premier League story of the Premier League title winners going down the season after. It really, really would be. I have no affinity to Leicester, but that was just an unreal situation they had last year. That they pulled it off, did it, they proved every single doubter wrong right up until the last week when you've got Magic Merce and his predictions going, this is the week that they'll fail, this is the week that they'll fail, this is the week that they'll fail, and they didn't. Now, they're back to where they need to be, and you need to at least stay and fight for your cause. Fight for the cause of Leicester. Just don't do it on Monday night. I had to get that in there. I really had to get that in there. I think Liverpool have got the potential to dominate this one. We're not in any other competitions now. Premier League is it. And Champions League qualification or Champions League, top 4 is the priority. And I think we've got the ability to do it. I think we can do it. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory. Don't be surprised if it could be a little bit more, though, depending on how Leicester turn up. That's what I personally think. I think Mane is going to have a very, very good game. I think he's either going to be assisting or he's going to be scoring himself, and the same goes for Coutinho. I think the midfield's going to have it's going to have a solid one. I think Lallana is hopefully going to start rediscovering that form, getting just playing like a little bit more how he was at the start of the season. Lallana's just signed a new contract as well, which is awesome news. So, hey, I think it's looking pretty good for Liverpool at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments below. 3-1 is what I'm going for. What is your prediction? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like on this video. That would help out so much. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much for watching, as always, and I'll catch you later.